Hello everyone, myself Srivalli, working as an assistant professor in the Department of Cybersecurity and Data Science in MLR Institute of Technology. Today the overview of presentation includes max terms, PCNF and examples on PCNF. So first let us understand what are max terms. In the previous session we have discussed about PCNF, PDNF and also we have discussed about mean terms. In the previous session, we have discussed about mean terms and also PDNF. Means if you want to solve the problems on PDNF, you need to understand what are mean terms. In the same way here, if you want to understand the PCNF, first you need to understand what are max terms. So here let us see the max terms definition. Let P and Q be two variables. So here we have two variables P and Q. The max terms are sums of P and Q and their negations such that none of the term contains a variable and its negation. So that means here, just like mean terms, here we have here product here, that is nothing but here max terms are nothing but sums of P and Q and their negations. So previous sessions we have already seen elementary product and elementary sum, and we have already seen the mean terms also. So for the mean terms you should have here just like sum of elementary products, but a variable and its negation is not accepted. In the same way here, for the max terms also, sum of max terms, which is nothing but here, so a variable and its negation is not accepted here. So means what is meant by elementary sum? A sum of the variables. So that is nothing but sum of the variables means what here? Pure Q, pure negation Q, negation pure Q, negation pure negation Q. So, along with this, for the elementary sums, we have already accepted PQ, pure negation Q or Q. Like this we have accepted. But here in the max terms, these are not accepted. Only these are accepted and these are called max terms here. So, max terms are sum of the PQ and their negation such that none of the term contains a variable and its negation. For P and Q, the max terms are, that is what here we have written, pure Q, negation pure Q, pure negation Q, negation pure negation Q. So, this is like here, you should have only or and only two variables you should have. That means a variable and its negation is not accepted here also. Note that pure negation P is not a max term because it contains both the variable and its negation. This is pure negation P. So this is called an elementary sum, but it is not a max term here. It is not accepted for the max term, but it is accepted for the here elementary sum. If there are n variables, there are 2 power n possible max terms. Similarly, for mean terms also we have, if you have n variables, then you will have 2 power n mean terms. In the same way here also 2 power n max terms. So next let us go for the principal conjunctive normal form. A formula which is equivalent to the given formula and consisting of product of max terms only is known as principal conjunctive normal form. So it is also called as product of canonical, sum of canonical form. So this is called actually not DNF, this is PCNF. We can write it as here in the bracket. So by mistake it is there PCNF here. A formula which is equivalent to the given formula and consisting of product of max terms only is known as principal conjunctive normal form. Means your product should be there and other sides you should have max terms. What are max terms? A sum of the variables and it should not accept a variable and its negation, that is called max term here. And we can also write this principal conjunctive normal form as product of sums canonical form. Let us see the question here. Obtain PCNF of P by implies Q. So here we need to add, we need to get the solution into the form of the PCNF. So what is a PCNF is product of max terms. Means here you should get the product and here you need to get the max terms. So that means a variable and its negation is not accepted, but other than that, whichever the variables we have there in the question, those all variables should appear in the max terms here. So P by implies Q. If you observe in the last question here, PDNF problem, we have the same question P by implies Q. Means for the same questions, we are accepting here the answer in the form of different ways like PDNF, PCNF, DNF or CNF. Now, just note down the given question P by implies Q. So here we can apply the standard formula, that is P by implies Q is equivalent to P implies Q and Q implies P. So just write down here P implies Q and Q implies P. And again the same statement formula here. The standard formula you have to apply P implies Q is equivalent to negation P or Q. So here we are writing negation P or Q. And here we are writing negation Q or P. So now if you observe, this is product and these are called max terms. So here we can stop up to this third line, third step. Why? Because we already got the answer in the form of the PCNF, that is product of max terms. But whereas if the question is asked for PDNF to obtain, so in the last session we have written by applying the distributive formula. Means for this we have applied the distributive formula to get this answer PDNF. But as the question is here PCNF, we got the answer, we can stop up to here, and this is the required PCNF. Now let us see the second question. Obtain PCNF of P implies Q and Q by implies R. So the question is P implies Q and Q by implies R. So if we observe the question carefully, we have three variables in the question. So what is PCNF? You need to get product of max terms. That max terms should have all the variables which are there in the question. So as we have here three variables, all the three variables should have in the question here. That too in the form of here max terms. Max terms means in between you should have only or. So that we need to follow to get the answer. Now, so here P implies Q. Just write down, apply the formula here, negation P over Q and Q by implies R. So the standard formula Q implies R and R implies Q. So here we have applied two formulas. One is the standard formula P implies Q is equivalent to negation P over Q, and another standard formula P by implies Q is equivalent to P implies Q and Q implies P. Two standard formulas we have applied here. Now, if we observe again Q by implies R implies Q. So, just apply the again standard formula, you will get Q, negation Q or and negation R or Q. So, here if we observe, if we release the brackets here, what the answer we are getting is negation Q or and negation R or Q. Now, if we observe, in between we have the product and these are called elementary sums, but this is not PCNF here. Why? Because, so for the PCNF you should get product of max terms. For the max terms you should get all the three variables which are there in this question. But I have here only PQ, means R is missing here. Here P is missing and here also P is missing. Then these are not here max terms, but we can consider it as their elementary sums. So this is the CNF but not PCNF. So still you need to solve it to get into the form of the PCNF here. So how we can solve it here? Here as negation P over Q is there, as R is missing here, I am just writing this negation P over Q as or F. So why? Because By using the laws of logic, P or F is equivalent to P. This is also domination law. Just like in the PDNF problems, if you have only one variable and the other variable is missing, we are just writing it in the form of P and true is equivalent to P. In the same way, this is for PDNF. In the same way here, P or F you are writing. If P or F is P, then instead of P I am writing P or F. And negation Q or F. And negation R or Q or F. So for each and every term here I am considering it as P or F, P or F, P or F, as P or F is here P. Now instead of F here, the variable whichever is missing in this term I am writing in the form of F here. So that is negation P or Q, or as variable R is missing here I am writing in the form of here R and negation R. In the same way, and negation QR or P and negation P, as P is missing here, and negation R or Q, or here also P is missing, I am writing in the form of P and negation P. Just here apply here multiplication here, just negation P or Q or and negation P or Q or negation R. So just I have multiplied this one, and negation Q or P and negation Q or negation P and negation R or Q or this one, negation R or Q or P and negation R or Q or negation P. So from this again you need to observe which terms are repeating here. So if you observe negation P or Q or, so negation P or Q or, so negation P or Q or R. So we don't have that first term repeating. So write as it is here, negation P or Q or. Next, negation P or Q or negation R. So here negation P or Q or negation R, negation P or Q or negation R. So one time you can write it here, negation P or Q or negation R. Next, negation Q or P, negation Q or P. So we don't have. So write it as it is here. So here we can write negation Q or P. And here next negation Q or negation P. So negation Q or negation P. In the same way, and negation R or Q or P. So like this, if any terms are repeating here, you have to write it, and then you have to write it in the form of always PCNF, which is nothing but product of max terms. So if you observe all the terms, how many terms we have here? Max terms 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 terms are accepted here. Why? Because as we have 3 variables, 2 power 3 is equal to 8 max terms. Up to 8 max terms are accepted. So as we get 5 max terms, it is accepted. Still it is in the form of here product of max terms here. Then this is the required here PCNF. So next let us go for the next problem here. P and Q or negation P and negation Q. So here if we observe the question here, we don't have any 3 variables. We have only 2 variables. So you have to get all the 2 variables in the max terms here. So now here P and Q or negation P and negation Q. Now I have here product and this is sum. Means it is in the form of sum of mean terms, which is nothing but PDNF. But I should get into the form of the product of max terms here. So how I should get the answer here? By applying the distributive formula. Why? Because here I don't have any formula for P and Q. I don't have any formula for negation P and negation Q. So that's why here you need to get here, just apply the distributive formula. So in what way I can consider P, Q are variables here? So let us suppose here first one is P, second one is Q, or Third one, I am considering it as total R. So, then if you apply the distributive formula, you will get PR R and QR R. So, this is in the form of product of max terms here, then it is accepted. So, just apply this formula, PR. So, this R is negation P and negation Q. And QR negation P and negation Q. So again, if you observe, we have the different connectives here. So again, we need to apply the distributive formula. That is PR negation P and PR negation Q. Just I have applied the distributive formula by using the formula here. PR Q and R is equivalent to PR Q and PR R. The same formula I have applied here. And so here also same thing here, QR negation P and QR negation Q. So now PR negation P is not accepted as max term, as we have a variable and its negation, just write down it as true, and PR negation P is accepted. QR negation P is accepted here. So this is QR negation P, it is accepted. QR negation Q is again, it is not accepted. You have to write it as this is true. And we know that 2 and P is always equivalent to P. So this is, I am considering it as P. This is, I am considering it as P. True and P is equivalent to P. Just write down here PR negation Q. And here QR negation P. So here we have the two variables which are there in the question, and here also we have the two variables which are there in the question. Means in the question I have only two variables. Those two variables should have in the each max term. Means the same terms we should not have. So just you need to observe how many variables are there in the question. Those many variables should exist in the max term. So, and here in the middle we have the product. This is product and these are called max terms here. Product of max terms. So that's why this is a required PCNF. So here like this, we need to solve the problems on PCNF here. Just like the PDNF, how we have discussed about mean terms, here also we have PCNF max terms. So what we have discussed today in the session is what is meant by max term, what is the PCNF formula, means what is the definition of the PCNF, and how to solve the problems on PCNF. And we have discussed a few examples on the PCNF. Hope everyone got it here. So by this we'll end the session for today. Thank you.